Will June have a Part 2 LR? And if so, when can we expect it? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We are taking a look at the current June Dokkan Fest campaign for the Mercenary Tau. This is the last campaign before the global download celebration, said to be the second largest celebration of the year, on par with the anniversary, meant to celebrate Global's anniversary, of course. So the question is, will this campaign, this filler DFE campaign, contain a Part 2 LR? And if so, in this video, we're going to go over who that could be and when we can expect them. So let's go ahead and let's hop on over to the in-game news here, and let's take a look at the Dokkan Stone sales and the Elder Kai banner. These two things are typically what we can use to determine whether or not there's going to be a new banner. And we can see here that the Elder Kai banner ends on the 13th at 6:59 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And the Dragonstone sales end at 6:15 at 4 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Now, that is quite the difference. It's actually a 2-day gap almost, which means that the new banner will likely fall somewhere between that time, right? They could always shift the stone sales or shift the Elder Kai banner, but we can safely assume that as early as the 13th or as late as the 15th, we could see the next banner, whatever that banner may be. So with that in mind, that does kind of line up with what we know is coming next week as well, right? Next week on the 9th, there will be a server maintenance on Global conducted with a new data download to implement a new event and the hidden potential change, right? They will be shifting the hidden potential. If we scroll on all the way down here, they will be shifting the hidden potential here to one stone, going back to the one stone. And it seems like this will be permanent for the time being. Maybe we'll do a separate video on who some characters you may want to consider going back and shifting their hidden potential. Let us know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing in the comments down below. Now, so knowing that all of that is going to occur, this kind of lines up with the ending of the sales and the ending of the sales and the Elder Kai banner, right? If this is ending on the 13th and the sales are coming in, we can safely assume that probably the 9th or the 10th, we should be seeing the teasers for the Part 2 LR, if there is to be one. So the question is, who could it be, right? There's been a lot of talk about who it could be. The theme of this celebration, it does seem to be centered around the category, as opposed to the saga, right, for the Mercenary Tau. Tau introduced a new leader skill, mission execution, and that does seem to be what the celebration is centered around. After all, his EZA and the sub-EZAs that came with him were the Ginyu Force, who have no connection to Mercenary Tau other than that new category. So we can safely assume that that's the theme going on, and then that's what the Part 2 is going to pertain to. I see a lot of people saying Part 2 might just be more the Earthbred Fighters part of his lead, which I can see, but I don't typically see them doing that, right? Typically with these themed celebrations, they stick to the category, right? We saw that last year with the Rosé celebration on JP, right? We're going to use JP as the example because we're pretty much following their schedule now, right? We saw that with Rosé's celebration into the Cell, the Super Bosses themed celebration. And then we saw it again with the Topo and the Ginyu Force, right? Last year during the April campaign, which was basically centered around special pose. So I would say it's pretty safe to assume that the second half of this celebration is going to be centered around the mission execution. So the question is, well, what is there available for them to do, right? Looking here at some cards that are already available, there's not a whole lot to work with, right? We have things from the Saiyan Saga like Raditz or Nappa and Vegeta. We have the Heroes units, which, I mean, that's pretty much out of the question, right? There's a lot of talk about a possible new Ginyu, such as, right, one thing that could be really good to continue this, right, since we did get the Ginyu EZAs, is to get a new like Goku Ginyu, like a standalone Goku Ginyu, or like a Ginyu and Jace or something, could really work to help out AGL Ginyu, who does need another Ginyu Force ally that he just doesn't have at the current moment. And that could work. It wouldn't be the first time that we've seen them center the Part 2 around an EZA that happened in Part 1. We saw that with Pycon during the STR Cell campaign, right? AGL Pycon and Janemba ended up EZAing, and the Part 2 LR ended up being a Pycon, which those two ended up working really well together. But that doesn't happen very often, right? So there's not... I mean, there's a chance it could be, but I think that is one of the slimmer chances. I think Ginyu got what Ginyu was going to get, and whatever happens next is probably unrelated to him. What's interesting to note, and I think this is probably a clearer indicator of what we can expect, there were 2 asset updates in the recent data download, right? One for the Goku Black Rose, and one for the Kid Vegeta. Now, this is probably nothing. Usually this means nothing. However, what's interesting here is that with that update, there's 2 things to note here. I don't think this was seemingly random. The Kid Vegeta being one, right? If we take a look here at the mission execution, Kid Vegeta is actually on the category. To add on to that, if we head over here to the news, his Super Strike event is being made available daily on the 11th. Possible LR Kid Vegeta. I mean, it's not the hypest thing ever, but I mean, it's strange that these 3 things are happening all together at once. I don't think that's a mere coincidence. Maybe it's tied to something else, like a free-to-play unit for the GDC coming up or something, or possibly connected to this new event that's coming, the Million Arena. But I do think that it is definitely... It's not nothing, I'll say that, and I think it could be. I am more in the boat that it is connected to the Part 2, especially when we consider that there's also a special event starting around the same time on the 9th for the Tau to collect the broken pillars that we can trade for Dragonstone. So I really do think they are going to maintain focusing around the mission execution, just simply because they don't seem to be straying away from it and moving to something else. I think a clearer indicator is if we can get an idea of who the EZAs are to come up. Now, we won't normally know that till later, but I mean, looking at who the possibility of a Part 2 EZAs are, characters on the mission execution category, right? We have the Gammas, we have Raditz, and that's it, right? So if we were to guess, right, Part 2, I think could be connected to some type of Saiyan. I fear the Gammas are probably going to be saved for some more superhero themed celebration, right? So I think Raditz is probably the next best choice here. I see a lot of people talking like Yamcha could EZA in the Part 2, but Raditz actually makes a lot of sense if we assume that there's something to be said here with these pure Saiyans. If Vegeta's battle asset updates is nothing, Raditz could make sense for a Part 2 EZA, especially because he is on the category along with Kid Vegeta. So It's hard to say who it's going to be, but my vote is something related to Kid Vegeta. Second vote is probably something related to Ginyu, just to help out the CZA. That doesn't happen often. In fact, the only time that I can think of that happened where the Part 2 LR benefits the EZA of the celebration is PyCon. That's it. I can't think of another example. If you could think of another example, let us know in the comments down below. But that is pretty much it. That is it for the video, guys. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and in the comments down below, let us know, who do you think the Part 2 LR is going to be? I am more than certain it is connected more to the mission execution than Earthbred Fighters or anything else, meaning that the likely scenario is something related to that update to the Kid Vegeta, or possibly something connected to the EZAs for the Ginyu. But let us know what you think in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.